we are back. Very many thanks for choosing to stay with us. And in case you're just joining us, welcome to Kenya's Gold, where the focus of the Friday, as is the norm every single day of the week, is on climate smart agriculture, sustainability, and the mitigation of climate change. Before taking a break, we did promise you incredible women in agriculture who eat, live, breathe agriculture. And they're here with us. On my immediate right, we do have Salimo Wakilimo, who's also known as the Queen of Agri-Tours. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. We also have Wangari, who is the farmer on fire, Nameva Red, Danger Fire, you know. And finally, we do have Nyambura Simiyu, who is an urban farmer and also a consultant when it comes to urban farming. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. And before we do start the main conversation, tunatiz nini?
Farm joke,
right? And the question we're asking you today is, all right, what can you eat, watch from, and listen to music on? And I'll expect you to give me answers at the end of the show.
Nimejaribu sana kufikiria mara nyingi kuhusiana na farm joke, lakini bahati nzuri ama mbaya niko peke yangu katikati ya jinsia ya kike. Lakini swali langu la kwanza linakuja kwako Nyambura. Kulingana na International Trade Administration, 40% ya overall workforce nchini Kenya inachangiwa na ukulima na 70% inachangiwa na rural workforce. Tutaongeza vipi ukulima na workforce ukuje town badala ya kwenda ushago?
Asante sana Terrell kwa swali lako. Nadhani in the urban centers, watu wengi sana tunakuja na sometimes find we don't have the white collar or blue collar jobs we are looking for. So the best thing is for us to encourage people to start farming with what they have. They do not necessarily need large tracts of land to farm. They can do urban farming in very small spaces. This has been demonstrated and proven to work. And so I encourage anyone in the urban center with whatever space they have, they can farm in a small space as a container.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of urban farming have we exploited?
Really low, say 1.
1?
Yeah, there's a lot we can do. Yeah, there's a lot
of work.
Yes.
All right. Now, moving to you, Wangari, and even Salim, I hope you'll give me an answer for this. Mostly when we're encouraging young people to participate in agriculture, if you tell them other careers, let's say corporate life, everyone has a role model in the corporate space that they look up to. A young person in music will tell you, I look up to Beyonce or Nyashinsky. In film, they have someone. Do we have role models in the space of agriculture that you can look at and feel like, you know what, I want to be like that person? Because sometimes it's easy to explore a career when you have a mentor or someone that helps you to it. Yourselves, do you have role models, or you're the ones who are going to be the role models for the next generation? I'll start with you, Wangari, then Salimo.
Yes, that's a good question. We are in transition because we just have hit this session where people are getting lost, wondering what is their purpose. Getting a job is not as easy as it was in the previous generation. And so for us, we are trying to debunk the notion that farming is backward, farming is for peasants, farming is for people who are dirty. We're trying to say you can still slave for the soil and make your money and still go on Instagram and do your pics. So feeding people is actually very important. It's a noble act. So we need to not just emphasize, but just press it on people. Like, the one thing people will never lack, even during COVID we saw, is that they will always eat. They might stop doing everything else, but they need food. And then number 2 is to urge those young people, which we have seen the numbers changing, I'm sure, with the new statistics. There are more younger farmers less than at least 60 years. And then thirdly, of course, the idea that you can use technology. I don't have to break my back. I can use drips. I can get a tractor, and that also helps even with bringing inclusivity of women in the agricultural space.
You have a role model, Salimo?
Yes. For a long time, agriculture has been not dignified. So people didn't even take photos. People didn't even say they are farmers. They would say, I am only doing this as I wait for my job. I'm doing this as I wait to go to school. So it was a way of life. It was not agribusiness. But currently, personally, I'm very new. I would say 3 years in. And yes, for example, I have found people who are now taking agriculture as a career. And they're taking it not only as a way of life, but also I am here to make business and to make money. So making sure that agriculture is attractive to the young person not only involves you going to the farm, beautiful and all, it's also, is it economically viable? And we have seen it. Right. So that is where the role model, that journey starts.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Hapo tu Salima wa Kilimo, napenda sana namna natamka kwa sababu ni Kiswahili, Salima wa Kilimo. Sasa tuangalie kama mtoto huyu wa kike anayekutazama na anajiuliza nikiingia katika ukulima nafasi yangu kama mtoto wa kike ikoje?
Yeah. Allow me to speak in English and say this. Technology has taken over the world in so many ways, but no matter how much technology will take the world, the best technology that will remain when it comes to food production is soil. So everybody has to allow themselves to touch that soil when it comes to food production. But then as women, you have to start carrying yourself in a journey of, I need to make money out of it. Because remember, for example, we grew up knowing that in the farms we see women, but when it comes to the money in the banks, it's men who go for them. So it's time for women to place themselves in a position of, I need this money. And so when I need to see the process from farming all the way to where it gets to the consumer. So how do I engage myself there? As a young person now, growing as a woman and a youth in agriculture, how am I putting myself in position? I have to make sure that I understand every bit of it. Because I think for a long time, women didn't understand the whole, that part. You see, the part beyond the post-production journey, women didn't understand, but I'm happy that they are now engaging into it, and now it's becoming a whole process for them to be in. So it's opening up, and we are happy for that.
But at the end of the day, the most important technology, regardless of what innovation comes in the market, will remain the soil.
Yes.
All right. Now, I want to pose a question to the three of you, and I'm very curious to find out, as we talk about all matters agriculture, as we embrace being women in agriculture and the new role models, have you read the agricultural bills?
I have.
I have.
Yes.
Yes, and I'd like to get your opinions. Wangari Farm on Fire, we'll have an intensive conversation on the same next week. But as a farmer, what are your thoughts on the agricultural bills, and are they capturing the needs of even you as a woman in agriculture as where you are right now?
Yes, so on your question of mentors, I think personalities in TV such as yourself, you really make it look very interesting and attractive, and thank you so much for that. I would also like to mention people like Keviti Wamgetau who bring joy and singing and all those jokes to try and sensitize people on better farming practices. So we are seeing a shift, and hopefully Farm on Fire is part of that transition. Show people that watu wa Murang'a ukienda huko wakiwa na Sunday best, you won't believe it's the same people on these NGO websites looking all haggard.
Right.
Yes, and for me, I think about the bills. Everyone here has read the bills, is in conversation, trying to demystify, because obviously right now in Kenya, there is a mood where people are feeling they cannot trust the system. So that is to start with. There is an emotional cloud that is happening. And then now the bills are just coming, punching. Before you recover, you're punching, before you understand what is happening. And I feel like the Senate or people in parliament, their first role, or at least half their budget, should go into sensitization of people, telling people, oh, so this bill, it means this and this and this. Don't leave this to propaganda and misinterpretation.
Right.
And then tell them what are the new opportunities, so that people are not just saying, these guys, they're just coming to harvest where they didn't sow. But obviously, there is a lot that is not making sense in terms of agriculture is the big contributor to Kenya's GDP, yet even the CS was talking about it. We are supposed to give at least 10% of the finance bill to agriculture, and we are getting at least 3% or something like that, which is some of the issues where farmers are feeling unsupported and too much over-regulation in the sector. So one of the bills, I think I'll talk about the MAG bill, which was withdrawn. I'll talk about the Seed and Varieties Act, which is still in court. And then there is the Rice Act. There is sugar. There is water.
There's a lot.
I'm running out of fingers. It's a bit overwhelming. But yes, we need to have this conversation conversations of first just debunking and discussing, and let people also go back and read the articles in full, not just the titles.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
Asante sana kwa hilo. Kwa mtazamaji, tupo studioni kina dada jinsia kike, bila shaka wanatega anga kuhakikisha kwamba ukulima unakwenda sawa. Kumbuka kwamba tunajaribu kutupilia mbali dhana potovu, ile stereotype kwamba jinsia kike hawapaswi kumiliki shamba. Twende mapumzikoni.